What's up, guys? Mario Delgadillo here. Welcome to our Friday edition of the Advanced Markets Training. I'm Mario Delgadillo with Finline Financial. And today we are going to talk a little bit about, we're going to talk about a concept that makes our firm different, our identity, our vision. But from this particular concept, it's going to take us into a couple of different routes that we could potentially take our clients, okay? So bear with me as I develop this idea and this concept, but I think based on whatever area of our business you guys are focusing on as an agent, this will be something that you want to absorb, take in, and use. So oftentimes, when we are talking to a client about wealth management, retirement strategies, right? They bounce back with this idea that, hey, I've got to see what my financial advisor says about this, right? And what happens is, and I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but the financial advisor and the insurance agent seem to clash, right? I always say to people, I say to my clients, this is the verbiage I say, I don't know why, but somewhere down the line, financial advisors and insurance agents have become like the Bloods and the Crips. I think that's absolutely ridiculous, okay? Here's why, okay? And I'm going to share my my screen with you guys because I was talking to a client about this the other day on Zoom, and I would say I believe this is what saved the client. I said, for me, I am not going to tell you to not work with your financial advisor. It's actually the opposite, okay? For me, I want you to have a well-rounded portfolio, okay? So what does that mean? Well, that means that you should have an employee-sponsored, okay, product, okay? So what's that? 401k, 403b, 457, something. Why do we want that? Because they usually give you some type of match. Now, we're not going to go overboard on it, right? I don't want you quadrupling down on it, okay? But the next thing that we're going to do, okay, is I tell them, you should have a Roth, okay? Now, maybe two if you can afford it, okay? Or at least get to a place where you have two. One that is pretty conservative, okay? And one that is a little risky. Now, why? Why though, guys? Because this is tax-free growth. I think you should also have some crypto, okay? I think you should also have some metals. I think you should also have some real estate. And I think you should also have some 7702A in your life. This is when they say, what? What the heck is that? Oh, 7702A is IULs or IBC, okay? And we'll figure out what that means. But that is exercising your ability to exploit the idea that 7702A, the tax code, tells us that we can store money inside of a life insurance policy and get it to grow tax-free with all these other benefits. And then the final thing that you should have in your portfolio, okay, is a guaranteed income stream. Now, what is guaranteed income? Well, it's actually a couple things. It's Social Security, right? It's a pension if you've got it, or it's an FIA. This is what you should have. So let me ask you a question. Why is it that I, as your insurance advisor, right, is recommending you have all these things, and some of these things I can't even do anything with you on, but your financial advisor is just talking smack about me? Who do you think they are vested in protecting? You or them? Is that, do you guys not see? I mean, I'm kind of like fired up right now, but could you not see me like doing a mic drop, like dun dada, like checkmate? What do you think the client is thinking about when I lay that out for them? Wow, this guy really does have my best interests at heart. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to zero in here, and I'm going to tell you, how do we know what to do with our clients? Well, I was talking to somebody. Did you guys see me talking to Priscilla on chat today or yesterday maybe about a 5-year annuity? And I said, I don't do them. And here's the reason why, because this is my philosophy on preparing people for retirement. So an FIA for 5 years, it, in my opinion, and in my strategy and in my philosophy, doesn't check the box to get you a guaranteed income. A 5-year annuity, to me, you'd better off just go get a CD. If you're looking to just get some money, put it somewhere for a short amount of time and just get a small return on it, just go do a CD. But if you want to get a chunk of money and put it somewhere to build a guaranteed income, then an FIA is your route. So let me show you what we do. Here's how we dive it down a little bit deeper, okay? So this should be, okay, in my opinion, this is the anchor of your retirement plan, okay? Now, to me, these more are still largely investment style of accounts, right? When somebody wants the money right now to go do other things with, right? It's a good way to invest your money. So what I said is this. Let's say your overhead, like this client's fixed cost, okay, is $5,000 a month. That's what they have that they need to make, right? So I say, okay, between you and your wife, do you know what you're getting on Social Security? Yeah, together we get $3,000. Perfect. Okay, what about any pensions? Well, my wife has an old pension, but it's only $600 a month. So that means we know what the shortfall is, right? So I am going to look now to say, how much money should we roll over into a fixed indexed annuity so that we can cover that shortfall of what is it, $2,400? That's what we need to get out of here, okay? So then we go and we say, we run the numbers and we say, okay, if you were to take $200,000 from some of these areas, okay, mainly your employee sponsored or maybe some of these Roths, and put it here, now what we've done is we've achieved guaranteed income to cover your fixed costs, and then all the rest of this stuff, do what you want with it. Be aggressive, be conservative, try to double, triple your money, invest in businesses, whatever you want. Oh, actually, that's another thing that I have in here, is you should try to get equity into a business of some sort, okay? So, well, okay, so if I put 200,000 into an annuity, it's going to get me 2,400. So with my Social Security and my wife's pension, now we're good. Yes, that is your guaranteed, okay, paycheck. Now, there's also another option. What if we got a guaranteed paycheck? Are you interested in that? Whoa, what does that mean? Well, if we move this to 350, we move this to 3,500. That extra $1,000 is your paycheck on a monthly basis. A lot of people really like that. Like, oh, snap, that's pretty cool. Okay. So now this is just the idea or the concept that I've been sharing with clients, and they love it. Because what this does, guys, is it gives some visual understanding of what my goal is for them. My goal for them is not to come in and say, oh, in your whole portfolio, you've got 15 million. I want to move it all into a fixed index annuity, because I don't want to. To be honest, if somebody had $4 or $5 million, what I would say is, okay, let's figure out what your nut is, and using guaranteed income, let's cover your nut. Then the rest of that money, where am I going to put it? Right here. IUL-IBC, right? Because it's just another way that you can grow your money, right? So the idea is, and this is what my thought was when I came in and I showed you guys. Can I erase this, guys? Are you guys good here? Okay. So my initial thought was this. When we look at our clients, okay, we're going to get to a point, guys, really quickly, where we get so big that Maritza and myself are not going to be at your beck and call like we are now. It's just not going to happen. There's going to be too many people, right? So pretty soon, the new Maritzas and the new Marios are going to be Patty, and it's going to be Priscilla, and it's going to be Tony, and it's going to be Eddie and Charina. You're going to be the new us. And it's not because we're too rich to mess with you, but there's a little bit of truth to that. Just kidding. It's going to be because there's just so many of you guys, right? So there's going to be a lot of people. So here's a natural question. Mario, I have a client. How do I know if I should take him IDC, IUL, or FIA, right? It's kind of like this. Because what do we do as a firm? Are we making a living selling final expense? No. Are we making a living selling term? No. We focus on wealth management and retirement services. This is our client. And this particular type of client, here's a simple answer, okay? Are you more of an investor type? Or are you looking, or have you guaranteed a retirement check? Okay, does that make sense, guys? So when somebody comes to me and they say, 52, I'm going to work till 70, love what I do. They're 52, they're going to work till they're 70, and they have $250,000 cash from a sale of a home. Keeping this in mind, go in there and type in, do you think that they are, let's do this, number one or number two? What do you think? Type it in the chat. Are they number one type of client or number two? Not all at once. Okay, thank you, Eddie, for participating. Appreciate you. Okay, number one. Patty, number one. All right, so I'm going to put Tony on the spot. Tony, why do you think that person, and right, guys, there's no right or wrong answer. This is just teaching us how to decipher what we should be doing with our clients. Tony, why do you think that this would be more of a number one? Why did you select that answer?
Can you repeat this scenario one more time?
So the scenario is the person's 52 years old, okay?
Right.
Let's say he works a full-time job, and he makes $150,000 a year. His wife makes 100 grand. They're not broke. They just sold one of their homes, and they have $250,000 cash. And he wants to work until he's 70. Now he's just trying to figure out, what could I do with this money? And I said, is this person that somebody you should talk to them about IDC/IUL, like an investor type person? Or is this someone that you want to talk to them about a guaranteed retirement check with an FIA?
I'm actually going to change it to two.
Okay. Now why? And again, no right or wrong answer. What would you think?
Yeah. Well, because he's about to retire. He has about $250 in cash. And well, between him and his wife, they make about $200K. So they have about $250 in cash. IUL is on the guarantee for possibly maybe the first year. Then after that, it can dip based on the market. If you get that guaranteed retirement check, then basically, you know, most baby boomers are on a fixed income. This right here is going to allow them to have their Social Security on top of their pension, on top of whatever savings that they have. As opposed to IBL, you dump all that in there, it can be gone at a blink of an eye. So that's why I went for a two.
Well, so here's what I would say. I think you're right on track. I would add this. My first question to this client would be, well, he said he's 52, he's going to retire at 70. So he's still got like 18 years of work ahead. Okay.
Right.
So my first question would be this. Before I decided where I was going to go with him, I would say this. Okay. What type of guaranteed income checks are you expecting? Okay. Well, he's going to say Social Security. Well, I've got a 401k, which is not guaranteed, but that's exactly what it's for. It's for his retirement. Okay. Right. My wife has a Social Security. Okay. That's about it. Okay. Do you know what you're gonna, well, the reason I say we're going to go to 70 is because at 70, I get 3,500 and my wife's about the same age. So at 70, she gets 2,400. Okay. Pretty good. So now, you know, you've got like $5,900 locked in. Okay. what is your fixed overhead costs? Remember, he's 50 something. So he might still have a lot of high overhead because he might still have some young kids, right?
Right.
He might have a mortgage, but the mortgage might be paid off then, right? So let's just say he goes, I need 7K. Okay. Well, 7K, you should be able to cover the difference with whatever your 401k is at that time. So let's say 18 years from now, his 401k is worth 500,000, and we can turn that into a guaranteed income at that time of 25. Now he's achieved what he needs to achieve, right? So then I would say, so we kind of can check mark this part off, right? Check. Because he took care of that with Social Security, 401k, right? Now, I might take them this way and say, I'm not going to do IUL. Okay. Why am I? And this is just me, and I don't claim to be the expert, but if somebody has a big lump sum of 250,000, I'm going to go IDC because they can have the opportunity to fully fund on the spot. Whereas an IUL, you can't. You have to build up capital over time, and it's usually in my expertise or my opinion. I won't say expertise, and I'm going to throw it to Maritza here for further explanation. But I would choose IBC because I feel like IUL, in my opinion, now based on what we've been really learning about IBC, IUL for me is somebody who's like, man, I don't got a lot of money. I only have a little bit, and over the course of the next 20 years, I hope to build up something kind of slowly. Then that's where maybe an IUL would be a good fit. But if somebody has a big lump sum like this, and they've already kind of checked the box for guaranteed income, then I would say, yeah, let's go IBC with that 250,000. Okay. Now, real quick before I turn it to Maritza, just for that quick explanation on IBC versus IUL, what if I did this? What if I said this to him? His wife is a stay-at-home wife, so she's not going to get Social Security, and his company doesn't do 401ks. He doesn't have a company-sponsored plan. Would I still be able to check the box for his guaranteed retirement check? Probably not. So in that case, I might say, dude, if you ask me, I'd put $250,000 into a fixed index annuity and let it grow for the next 18 years. So now, at that point, you'll have like a $4,000 a month income just from there. And now I can check the box. So this is what I would do. Again, guys, I started off by saying there's no right or wrong answer. Okay. But for me, it would be, is he okay on the guaranteed paycheck side? And if he is, based on his age, I'm going to take him to IBC. If he doesn't have any guaranteed income, then I need to use that to create his guaranteed income. Then I would go to FIA. Does that make sense, guys? Tony, you were going to say something?
Yeah, so I guess I got confused because my main focus, based on the illustration I was presenting, is IBC, not because I didn't understand what the IBC/IUL. I was taking out IUL all day, so that's why I said guaranteed retirement check. It was mainly IBC. That's all I'm doing right now. You know what I mean? Because with that 250, the cash value and all that stuff. So so maybe I looked at the your writing incorrectly, but everything you're saying is
Well, no,
correct. That's
yeah, I think you were right. I think you were right. It has nothing to do with you just not focusing on it. IUL. I just don't think is a good product for him, no matter what. But I changed this scenario right now. So if he has a company or employee sponsored type of plan that he can get income from, then because he's got 18 years. He's 52 and he wants to retire at 70. Some people you're going to get are 56, 57, and they want to retire like Friday. So that's a whole nother thing. But this guy has a long runway still. That means he can get some compounding stuff to work in his advantage for the next 18 years. So, Maritza, what are your thoughts on this? Or is there anything you want to share at all?
Can you repeat the question one more time? Sorry,
I said no. No worries. Is there anything, the idea is that for this particular client, 52 years old, the original scenario was he does have a 401k. He's got Social Security for him and his wife. He just came into $250,000. And I said, as long as we can, my philosophy was as long as I know he's got enough money coming from those guaranteed guaranteed income things, that I would move him to IBC rather than IUL. And I was going to go to you to say, why do you think IBC would be a better fit for this particular client over IUL? What are your thoughts on that?
So because of his age, I would say IBC all the way, specifically because remember with an IUL, it's going to take about 10 years to start seeing growth. And, it doesn't make sense to pull anything before the 10-year mark with an IUL. Having said that, with an IBC, you can pull funds and utilize it as as a paycheck, as a salary, essentially during retirement or before retirement, for that matter, before or 7 days prior or after, to signing the contract. That's why I would use IBC.
Yeah, good. So it kind of stays in line with what we're saying is if it's somebody who is still wanting to be like an investor style, like I want to get this money, put it somewhere, and then put it to good use in other areas, IBC all day. But if somebody wants to take this 250 and only put together a guaranteed retirement, then it's FIA. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. Patty, what are your thoughts?
Mario,
I know
sorry
you've got
to
a little
interrupt.
bit. Go ahead.
I've got to log off. We're about to start here.
Yeah, no worries. Got you. Okay. So, Patty, what are your thoughts?
You have to dig first and find out where they're at, because if they don't have the guaranteed income yet, then you want to fill that need first. You have to make sure that they're taken care of. The floor's not going to fall out from under them when they get to retirement. If that's taken care of, then they've got room to play and grow using like IBC, IUL. And like Maritza spoke, depending on how much time they have and how old they are, and how much money they have, whether you're going to go IBC or IUL once you're in that bracket.
Yeah, and you know what also? That's a huge, huge point, Patty. You know what else counts? Is their like philosophies, their risk tolerances, right? Their spending habits. So conceptually, IBC sounds amazing, right? It's like I put my money somewhere, it's growing and I have access to it. Yes. What if you're an overspender as a person, like just in your home? You 250,000, and then every time you get any type of cash value, you just take that money out, take that money out, take that money out, and you don't actually ever replace it. Now, retirement comes, your cash value is big, but you owe a gang of money on that money. And now you're in a bad position. Do you see where I'm coming from? That IBC sounds amazing, but it has to be the right fit. That's why for me, I make it clear. You have 250,000. Do you want to dedicate this towards creating a guaranteed retirement check at 65 and beyond? Yes, then this is the right fit. If you're 50 something and you already have a 401k, you and your wife both have Social Security and she has a small pension, okay, that's good. Do you want to use this 250 now then to, yes, create something for the long term, but also give you the opportunity to use it for some investments and do some things with it? Yeah, then you go that direction. Does that make sense, guys? That's very important, because we could be slamming a bunch of people to IBC, but we actually hurt them because maybe they're overspenders. And in their case, they're like, dude, I just got 250,000 and I can do whatever I want with. What do you mean? Well, because I got this money protected, it's growing. And every time they get more cash value, because you know that the cash value grows every year. So that 250 that's in the actual account, let's say year 2, it turns to 300. That means they have an extra $50,000 available and they borrow it again. And then the next year that 300 turns to 350. Now they got another 50,000, they borrow it again. You have to understand that that's why the United States is freaking broke. because all of us just spend what we don't have. So I'm sharing this with you guys that if we're going to do right by our clients, then we need to make sure we're putting them in the right vehicle. Does that make sense, guys? Any questions on that? Anything to chime in on for those of you guys, especially that are working IBC? All right, cool. So let's do this. I want to transition into a product that I, to be honest, just started really diving into on the annuity side, and I freaking love it. Let me pull this up real quick, guys. Actually, I'm not going to go through the illustration for time purposes because I do have to be off in about 15 minutes. We've got to go walk the halls at my daughter's school. Is it just me, or do they do way more stuff than we ever did? I don't remember walking the halls. I don't remember meeting the teacher. I don't remember all. It was like I had like a paper lunch sack, a peachy folder, and my dad was like, "See ya, you're walking to school." Okay, like it's like there's like all these
latchkey kid here.
Dude,
I always tell
seriously.
my mom, this generation is like so coddled. Like our generation, like I'm not your generation, but the millennials, the older millennials, no, we definitely get that.
Dude, latchkey kid is for sure. Like I was by myself till at least 6:30 every day because my mom and dad both worked, and I had to have chores done. I had to do all this stuff, or I was getting a whooping. And people would be like, "Mario, how did you learn how to make quesadillas?" I was like, "That's the only thing that I could eat. I got a tortilla and then threw cheese in it, and I did it every day." Or nachos. Did you guys ever make nachos? Just chips and throw cheese on it. That was my every day. So, anyways, I gotta get up in 15 minutes because we gotta go walk the hall. Apparently, it's kind of crazy. I digress. I'm just happy I'm around other people who know what I'm talking about here. So, all right. So the product that I want to go over with you guys is the Accelerator Plus 10. And I'm actually really falling in love with this product. Okay. So first of all, right now, they're offering an 8% bonus on your money. Okay. So the guy wants to roll in 750,000. Okay. They're giving him an 8% bonus right off the top. That's a $60,000 deposit that he's earning right out of the gate. Okay. What I've also done is I've also kind of redistributed the indexes. You know, there's a bunch of different indexes we can put their money on. Okay. What I've been doing is doing this balance asset 10 with a 2-year point to point at 25%. So if we go up here and we look, 2-year point to point with spread and charge, so 265% bonus. Okay. Then I've been doing 25% on the Barclays 2-year point to point. Okay. So we go Barclays 2-year point to point, 325% bonus. And then I'm doing 50% on the 1-year point to point with cap at 50%. So half of the money is going to be on a 2-year point to point, and the other half is on a 1-year point to point. All of them have bonuses, but I also like the fact that I'm doing about 50% on the S&P because guess what? The S&P is the strongest thing around, right? So this one is 1-year point to point with cap. It's at 9.25%. So that's the cap. So it can grow up to 9.25%. And remember, zero is the bottom. So when we go over here, this is what I usually tell folks and how I present it. So this top one here is all 3 of those averaged together. So when I average all 3 of those together, it's 10.04 over the last 10 years. This is the lowest 10 years over the last 20, and it was 8.75. And then the highest 10 years over the last 20 was 15.8. So last 10 years, 10, your highest 10 years was 15, and your lowest 10 years was 8.75, all guaranteed against loss. Really good, okay? So this here has, I added a rider, okay, the income rider. And normally, guys, the income rider is 1.15%. Right now, it's 0.095, so it's even cheaper, okay? So let me go into the numbers and tell you why I'm so impressed with this product. So he's going to drop in $750,000. Okay. Now, right out of the gate, we're gonna find out that he got that bonus, which takes him to 810 right away. Okay. So right off the gate, $60,000 free cash. Then he's going to let it go. He's just going to let it rip. Okay. So he wanted to say, I'm going to retire at 65, start working at 66. Notice there's 2 ages here because I added a joint annuitant option. So a joint annuitant option basically means that the husband and the wife can be on at the same time. Okay. On the same account. It's free. It's not a rider. But what I've found talking to F&G is that it really only matters on a guaranteed income rider because they've earned a certain amount of guaranteed income. And when he dies, the wife just keeps rolling with the guaranteed check. Or if she dies, the husband just keeps rolling with the guaranteed check. He said it really doesn't serve a purpose if you're doing like a power accumulator 10 where it's just like pure growth and they're just taking money whenever they need it. Does that make sense, guys? And this might be over some of y'all's head, but just hear me out on this. So the joint annuitant option is good when you have a guaranteed income rider. Okay, so let me show you how this works. So what happens is the idea of the guaranteed income option is that you want to try to not take your money as long as possible because once you do, the longer you wait, the higher the income becomes. So in this example, he rolled in 750, it became 810, and then he just let it roll, okay? When he was getting ready to take it out at 66, what they do is they look at the last year's account value, and then they have like a matrix. So if the account value is 1.8 million, in this year, year 8, the multiplier is 60%. Notice the sooner he takes it, the lower the multiplier is, right? So as you notice, 60 is the highest that it can go. So if he goes to 8, he's actually hit his point to where he's going to get the most amount of growth. So 1.8 multiplied by 60 comes out to 2.9. So this is called your income base. Your actual account value is over here, okay? But the income base is what they calculate your actual income rider off of. So 1.8 multiplied by 60% comes out to 2.95. Then they say, okay, well, how much out of that 2.95 are we going to give him? It's going to be 4% of that. Okay. So 4% comes out to $118,115. Guys, that's like $9,800 for the rest of his life. Never has to worry about any type of up and down, and it doesn't matter forever. He's just flipping that switch and he's getting a $9,800 check, $9,800 check every month for the rest of his life. Okay. Pretty awesome product. Hold on. And this is guaranteed on the non-guaranteed rates. I don't understand what that means.
So like when you're presenting this and you're able to say, here's the guaranteed amount that you're going to get, we're still doing it though, based on the hypothetical.
Yeah,
like
it's not. So what it is the good question. So this growth is based on the last 10 years of production. So yes. So from 810 to 1.8, okay, they're showing that trajectory based on what they've done in the last 10 years. Okay. So good question. But yes, that's what that is. Okay. All right. So that's how they would get this. Now, a couple things to keep in mind. It is a 10-year product. So after 10 years, he's got 1.5 million in there. Even though he has a guaranteed income rider, he could walk away with this and go somewhere else and there's no charges, nothing. Okay. Which is pretty cool. I don't know why somebody would do that. Because basically he paid 0.95% from year 1 to year 8 and then decided to leave in year 11. You basically paid all that money for no reason if you decide to leave, right? So I don't, but technically, could he leave? Yes. And what would he leave? Nobody's going to cash out $1.5 million. They'd give away 45% of that in taxes. Okay. Especially if, certain presidents get in, they're going to pay way more in taxes. Capital gains is a mother. Okay. So you don't want that. Okay. So, but technically they can. Here's another thing. Whatever the account value is, should the person die, their beneficiary gets the full amount in a death benefit. Why is that important? Okay, huge deal. Not just for fixed index annuities, but for IULs as well as for IBC. Okay, I'm going to come off the full screen for this. Did you guys know that if I have money, let's say I have 1.5 million sitting in an IUL, okay, and it's qualified, meaning I haven't taxed that money yet, and I die, my beneficiary is going to pay income tax on that money because can't get away from that. Then they're going to pay a death tax. Then they're going to pay an inheritance tax. But if I have that same 1.5 qualified money rolled into IBC, rolled into IUL, or rolled into an FIA, and I pass, okay? Now we're just speaking about the cash value, okay? Keep in mind the 1.5 in an FIA, okay? They will pay the taxes because it's never been taxed, right? Okay, but they will escape a death tax and they will escape an inheritance tax because it's considered a death benefit. Okay, that's huge, guys. That's huge. Now, IBC, just so we have clarification, IBC and IUL don't have a death tax and they don't have an inheritance tax. Okay, why? Because it's a life insurance policy. But they do pay taxes on the growth of the money when you draw it out. Okay, just clarification there. Does that make sense, guys? That's a huge selling point. This client that I'm showing you right now, okay, that's one of the things he loves most. There's a couple things that he really likes about this product. Number one, if he passes, it's a joint annuitant. His wife just takes over. He passes on the 15th of the month. On the 1st, here comes another deposit. Nothing skips a beat. Number two is he loves the fact that when he passes, if he passes, he's a little older, okay, if he passes first, or if they pass together, because now that they're annuitants, if one passes, nothing happens. But if they both pass at the same time, or one then one, whoever the beneficiary is going to escape the death tax and the inheritance tax on this money. And he's like, that's great. I don't want as least amount of taxes being paid as possible, the most amount of money going to my loved ones as possible. But when you step back, guys, and look at this product, the average life expectancy of the average American is 84 to 85. Okay, they're both different ages, but here's what we're going to look at. At 87 and 85, okay, he's 87, she's 85. He would have put in $750,000 one time. They would have lived on $3 million, and they would still have $3.3 million in their account. It's insane. And notice how it starts to go up. You guys see that? It was 118. Now it's 157. Now it's 199. Okay, because they only do it to 100. That's what this looks like. Now it won't necessarily go up in their lifetime. It'll stay at 118, but for the purposes of this particular illustration, they illustrate it to 100. So it kind of cuts off here, but that technically wouldn't happen. It would stay at 118 all the way through to, if they lasted, to 120. Okay. So this is a pretty awesome product, guys. So for those of you guys, which I think right now is just Priscilla, Nicole might be getting started on this, and I think Sharina knows quite a bit about the annuities as well. If you're looking to get somebody into an annuity with F&G, my whole goal for you guys is to simplify this whole thing, right? I've got a client. Is it a type 1 IBC investor type? Then we go here. If it's a guaranteed income type, then we go here, right? Now, From a guaranteed income perspective, am I doing a power accumulator 10? Power accumulator 10 is just growth mining. It's all accumulation. There's no guaranteed income. They just grow with 10% access, and they can access their money whenever they want. And I could talk to you about why and when that would be a good client. Then you've got the Accelerator Plus 10, which is like, hey, no, I want a guaranteed income for the rest of my life. I want to be able to set my watch to it and know that $9,800 is going to come every month, $4,000 from Social Security is going to come, and $1,500 from my pension is going to come. That's what I want. Then you go Accelerator Plus 10. So I'm trying to simplify this game for you guys. And then even when we go IBC, we're going to have a couple of providers, okay? One is going to be Foresters, okay? And there's going to be certain type of clients we go to Foresters with. The second is going to be Guardian. We're going to get licensed and contracted with Guardian. Guardian has a lot of benefits. It's a mutual company. And then we also have the opportunity for Mass Mutual for a very specific client as well, okay? So if I can simplify this process, if Maritza and I can simplify this process for you, where it's like, I got a client, do I take them this way or do I take them this way? Well, I know why I'm going to take them this way or take them this way. And then once I take them this way, there's 2 routes. Once I take them this way, there's 3 routes. That's it. And then you just become a ninja. Guys, you don't have to know every product. I'll stop right now because we're recording.